New numbers are out this morning, giving us a better look at the rental housing market across Canada. Tyler Orton with Business in Vancouver is joining us with more. And Tyler, those vacancy rates are improving slightly, but that's really providing very little relief to renters.
Very much so. They are improving slightly year over year here in British Columbia, but as the CMHC, the Crown Corporation, notes that we are actually doing poorly versus our 10-year average here in BC. So if we break down the numbers, we can see that the BC vacancy rate, it is at 1.4%. That's actually up 0.1 percentage points versus last year. Vancouver also went up 0.1 percentage points. It's up to 1% now. The other thing I need to highlight here, though, is average rent for Vancouver proper. It is at $1,300 approximately for one bedroom and $1,650 for two bedrooms. Each of those are increases of about $100 year over year. That's worth noting because that is about quadruple the rate of inflation, which is putting a lot of pressure on people coming to British Columbia. And that's a big factor with regards to demand. The CMHC, it's noting that we're seeing increased demand because of population growth and demographics that rent more often. Those are people ages 20 to 34 as well as 65 plus. So a lot of pressure on the BC and Vancouver markets right now.
For sure. And I think, Tyler, a lot of people looking for a rental apartment in Vancouver might say that those rents are actually very low. I was surprised to see those numbers because most two bedrooms rent for $2,500 plus.
You know, I'm actually going to correct myself. I said Vancouver proper, and I actually meant to say Metro Vancouver.
Okay,
so that's
all right.
spread. Yeah. So my apologies for that.
No worries. Okay, thanks for the clarification. Another story you're following today is about a BC supercluster. And before you get into the nitty-gritty, what exactly is a supercluster?
Well, it's this big government initiative from Ottawa. They're putting about $950 million down to create all these public-private partnerships in regions with business activity that's primed for collaboration. And with regards to British Columbia, we have a digital technology supercluster, which so far has garnered about 560 members over the last 18 months, and they have committed $200 million to this initiative to get all these collaborations going. We just found out from the federal government yesterday that they're putting $153 million in commitments towards the supercluster program. What's worth noting, though, is if you look at how the math is done, BC is getting the same amount as the superclusters in the prairies as well as Atlantic Canada. And that leaves $490 million to be divvied up right in half between Ontario and Quebec. So we are getting significantly less than what those superclusters will be getting. The MP who made the announcement, Marco Mendicino, he said that, well, it's based on merit. So I don't know. You take that as you will with regards to this funding, but still very exciting for this program here in BC.
Well, some in BC's tech industry may be a little bit offended by that. Sure. Tyler, thanks so much.
Thank you, Sonia.